Ladies and gentlemen, OtakuDaiKun's Simple Guide 8 Part 1. Yeah, that's the name of the video. I'm not even going to be talking too much right now. I just want, because it's already a long video, I just want to get into it and see what he got to tell me. I really just want to, I think after watching this, and I think there's a part 2, I think after that I'm gonna stop like watching these type of videos to like, and I'm just gonna get into the series, like honestly, because it's taking too long. Expect this and the next Fate Guide to Fate video to be the last videos about like where it started, shit like that. Okay, but for now, let's just get into it. You know what I'm saying? Let's go.
Video serve is your one-stop shop
Talk to me,
into the
Daikun.
Fate franchise with tips on how to start, as well as understanding some of the underlying
Right.
lore that makes experiencing any part of the series much easier.
Okay, OtakuDaiKun, talk to me.
Welcome back to Otaku Daikun. Dai here. First off,
What's up?
let me say that my YouTube channel already has a ton of videos explaining the lore of this franchise.
Right.
Many of them have been exclusively designed for newcomers.
Yeah, that's
While
why we
other
here.
channels have guides,
I'm
I
a
feel it's
newcomer.
high
I'm a
time I
noob.
provide my own. The first section of this guide will talk about Fate's various
Ooh.
releases, giving you an
Look
understanding
fine.
of how to start and navigate
Look
the
crazy.
franchise. The second will
I
be
don't
a
know who the fuck they
hyper-basic
are.
yet comprehensive lore of the franchise that spoils just a bit in favor of making it much easier to understand.
That's
Feel
fine.
free to watch just the first section if you don't want spoilers, but I must admit, I wish I had this
That's
knowledge going
fine.
in.
I've already
Overall,
seen
the
things
Fate
that I shouldn't have
franchise is a
seen,
series of
probably.
works consisting of sequels, parodies, prequels, and spin-offs of the original 2004 visual novel Fate Stay Night. They all tell stories about masters and servants competing in what's called the Holy Grail War,
Right.
each with their own twists on the formula.
Knew about that
While
much.
it makes most sense to start with Fate Stay Night, you can technically jump into any of the other works if you prefer.
Right.
What I've
But
learned is that no matter where you start,
I think like right now, where I'm standing right now, I think I'm gonna start with that. But maybe after this video, I'll think differently about it. I don't know. We gonna see.
you'll wind up with questions that get answered by experiencing other parts of the series.
Right.
There are pros and cons to each work, and if you really enjoy them, you'll eventually see them all. The other thing to understand
hope
is that
so.
every work in the franchise is canon, because each one is its own alternate reality. It's
Okay.
a multiverse, after all, just like you can see with Marvel
The
comics.
Nasuverse.
You can read the
Right.
Iron Man comics, then watch the movies, and even though they have their own
Never read the
each
comics.
one is valid relative to its own timeline.
Do y'all
Sometimes artists will reboot.
be reading like fucking Iron Man and fucking Spider-Man and shit comics like that? I've never done that. It seems cool though, but I don't think I've ever actually like seen one like in real life. I don't know, I always see that shit on like TV and shit. Other than that, that's never been me.
Buddhist story, taking it in a completely different direction. Rather than saying one is more canon than the other, it's easiest to just acknowledge that there are different versions of any given story. This makes perfect sense for Fate, considering it started as a visual novel with branching
Right.
narratives and various endings. So yeah,
Okay.
it's all canon, with
All
each
canon.
narrative taking place on a different timeline.
Okay.
So, even if you can start practically anywhere, I'll admit that it's probably easiest to start with the main Stay Night timeline,
Stay
which
Night
consists of
timeline.
Fate Zero, Fate Stay Night,
Oh.
and Fate Hollow Ataraxia. Purists
Huh?
will obviously recommend you start with the visual novel, and for good
Wait,
reason.
what happened to Unlimited Blade Works? Okay,
As
well,
the original
I'm
vision
just
for
gonna
the
get through
story,
videos
with
and
by
leave
far
it.
the most amount of detail.
3 plot routes,
No matter how
anime and
brilliant
manga
the
must
anime
be played
adaptations are,
via
they
fan
don't cover
patch.
every relevant detail you'll get by starting at the
Interesting.
source. There are two problems with this method, though. First, the visual novel is incredibly long, and not necessarily paced to keep you in the action. There are tons of slice-of-life moments in there that may unintentionally turn off newcomers.
I like slice of life
To
though.
this day, the visual novel still doesn't have an official
I do.
English release, which means you're going to be sailing the
Damn.
high seas. Still, it's not that hard to
Who was
obtain.
that?
The current version of the
I
visual
wouldn't
novel,
mind
We
sailing
All
the
Do It
seas
for
with her.
Windows,
What
is
the
actually no
fuck?
longer on sale even in Japan. So there's literally no way to officially purchase it even if you wanted to. I've got info on how to get it in the video description. The other thing you'll need is the English patch hosted on the Type Moon forum Beast's Lair.
Okay, so
It's
this
called
is
the
about
Ultimate Edition
playing,
and can also be found in the
right?
description.
Like the Stay
This is
Night
most
part.
certainly the definitive way to experience Fate Stay Night, as it combines the adult content from the original release with the updated content from the Rialta Nua version, such as the highly coveted Last Episode, which is an epilogue to Saber's route. Now, not everyone's going to want or be able to go that far. It's a large time investment, and some of you lack the opportunity to sit at a Windows computer for hours on end.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna do all of that. I think I'm just gonna stick to watching the anime for now. For maybe in the future I will, but I don't know about playing the.
Thankfully, you
Yeah, I
can
don't
watch
know. I don't
recordings
know
of the
about that.
entire thing here on YouTube. In particular, I
Oh,
have archived live streams of all of Fate Stay
that's
Night
also
and
of
Hollow Ataraxia you can watch,
that's also
though
a
it
thing I
does
can
have
do.
my commentary. There also exist no commentary runs that you can search out. Obviously, this is the
That's
purest
an
way to
option.
get started, but truthfully, visual novels just aren't everyone's cup of tea.
I
Even
feel
though
that.
Fate Stay Night is especially well made, with plenty of action and movement, it can't possibly stand up to some of the amazing animation that's been released since then.
I
Because of
mean,
this, I
it's
think
been a
starting
minute
with the anime is just
since
as
that shit's
valid.
been released.
That said, visual novels and anime often don't mix as well because of structure.
Hmm.
The visual novel has 3 different plot routes, each with different endings and a slew of deaths. There's
Oh
no way
shit.
to pack all of that information into
Why,
a single anime.
why is he laid
but
out?
we're in a rather glorious time because all 3 plot routes have been more or less animated as standalone releases. If you want to experience Saber's route, also called the Fate route, you can do so by watching the 2006 anime by Studio Dean.
Okay.
It's not the best adaptation, as it tries to cram in parts of the other routes into the story, but it does hit the important
really
story
now.
beats.
But
The
it's
second
still.
route, Unlimited Blade Works, was adapted into a series by Ufotable. This is a gorgeous anime that really does the visual novel justice.
Okay.
In fact, it's in part thanks to Ufotable that Fate is as popular as it is today.
Okay, that
There
makes
also
sense.
exists a theatrical adaptation of this route by Studio Dean, and while it's fun to watch, it really fails at trying to
I think I'll
condense
just stick
hours
to
of
the
narrative
series. I
into a
don't need to
single
watch no
movie.
movie.
At this point, all it's
Maybe
good
I
for
will
is
after
serving as a
watching, but
highlight reel
it's
of
not like you said. It's
fight
not
scenes.
necessary, right?
But ever since Ufotable did such a great job on their adaptation, you can likely skip the Unlimited Blade Works movie altogether.
Okay.
As for the final route, Heaven's Feel, that just
Heaven's
got
Feel.
animated by Ufotable in the form of a movie trilogy. At
Uh-huh.
the time of me writing this video, the final film has been out in Japan for some time and is getting theater screenings in English during November. The one piece of the visual novel you'll be missing is
Those
the
movies
Rialto
look
Nua
really
last
good. I
episode,
really want to
which
get
has
to
yet
that
be
part.
released in an animated form. Well, scratch that actually. Turns out Ufotable did animate this epilogue, but right now it can only be watched by visiting Type Moon's museum in Japan. Honestly,
Damn.
I'd sacrifice a
Kinda
nut to
restricted.
get my hands on that.
You sacrifice a what? Yo, Daikun, what you want, bro?
The one thing I want to clarify
What the
is that when I
fuck?
refer to plot routes, I'm referring to different ways the Fifth Holy Grail War could have gone down.
Hmm.
They all start from the same point, but branch off to tell completely different stories. So right
Okay.
from the beginning, there never was just one story called Fate Stay Night, and none of the game's plot routes are considered to be the canon ending. Again, they're all valid according to their own timelines.
Okay, so
I
they're
get a
just
lot of
all in
questions
different
from people who
timelines.
watch only one of the anime and are confused when what they remember doesn't match what I'm talking about in one of my lores. The reason
they
is
all,
that
like-
there are different versions of the story depending on which route you take.
Yeah, so
This
different
is made
versions, but they
abundantly
all
clear in
like
the
still
visual
have the
novel sequel,
same.
Fate Hollow Ataraxia,
Okay, that
which is
makes sense.
technically a sequel to all 3 routes combined. As of right now,
Hollow
Hollow Ataraxia
Ataraxia.
only exists as a visual novel. You can find links to it, as well as English voice and decensor
I was
patches.
about to
in
say,
the
I don't think I've
description,
seen an anime
because
about
again,
this.
This never got an official English release. If you'd prefer, I also streamed the entire novel for you to watch on my channel.
Damn, he streamed
Admittedly,
everything.
That stuff's
Okay.
all a tad complicated, and one of the reasons Fate
Good
really
content,
got
bro.
popular was when Ufotable animated the light novel Fate Zero, which serves as the prequel to Fate Stay Night. Some purists
Right.
don't recommend starting with this one because it spoils parts of Stay Night, but
Mm-hmm.
I personally feel it's a fantastic way to start the franchise.
Okay.
Unlike the other works, Zero is a single narrative that can be lovingly experienced in its light novel form or via fantastic manga and anime adaptations. There are pros and cons to starting here too, though.
Okay,
It does
talk
give
to me.
away some spoilers for Stay Night. I also feel like it provides
Spoilers?
proper context and build-up that
The
actually
proper
make parts of
context and
Stay Night
build-up.
even better. Experiencing both Stay Night and Zero, either through anime or novel, will give you a solid foundation to easily jump anywhere in the franchise. So let me just give a brief rundown of what those works are. Let's start with Carnival Phantasm. This one's
Of
a
course.
parody anime with comedic skits based on both the Fate and Tsukihime series.
I really want to
It's
watch
totally
this
fine
too.
to watch if you haven't read Tsukihime, since most of it is still Fate-oriented. There's no major story to worry about, but the jokes won't land if you aren't aware of Stay Night. While Hollow Ataraxia has yet to be adapted, the closest thing we do
That one,
have
I
is
wanna
the
watch that
anime
one
and
too.
manga, Emiya-san Shi no Kyo no Gohan,
I like the
which
slice of life
makes menu
shit,
for
so
the
I really
anime
want
family.
to.
It's a cute slice of life that, like Hollow
I wanna
Ataraxia,
watch all of
happens
this.
after Stay Night as though all the routes combined into one. Again, it doesn't tell any huge narrative, but it helps to understand
Damn.
Stay Night so you can understand what the characters went through.
This look like
and
this
how
looking
nice
like
it is to see
Haikyuu.
them
What the
happy
fuck?
together. Placed between Stay Night and Zero is the anime El Malloy case files.
I've seen this.
It follows what
I've seen
happens
this
to
too.
Waver, a character from Zero after the Fourth Holy Grail War.
Hmm.
Technically, El Malloy Case Files is a series of 10 light novels, many of which you
Okay.
can find fan
But
translations
you also have
of.
an anime and a
The
manga.
anime only adapts one of these volumes,
Only
so you'll have to do some
one?
reading to get the full story.
Damn.
More serious is the spin-off, Fate Apocrypha.
That's kind of tough.
It's an alternate timeline that branches off from the one in Stay Night, where earlier on, events deviate so that the Fourth Holy Grail War never happens. Instead, there's a great Holy Grail War between two factions of masters and servants.
Oh
It's a
shit,
light
okay.
novel that also has an anime
That sounds kind of
adaptation.
hot.
I personally love the anime and feel it does a solid job covering the story,
Yeah,
even with some minor
it sounds
differences.
great.
Another major spin-off is Fate
Man, I
Collide
really
Honor
need to
Prisma Ilia. It's
get
based
into all
around
of this
one
shit.
the central characters,
Damn.
Ilia, getting her own entirely different narrative. It's another alternate reality, where the Grail War technically never happens. Ilia instead becomes a magical girl to stop malicious servants manifesting from cards.
A magical
Well,
girl.
kinda silly. The story has gotten
What the
rather
fuck?
complex, with a prequel that takes itself much more seriously.
Really
Most
now.
of the story has been animated, including the prequel movie, Oath Under Snow, but the manga it's based on is still being written. The same goes for Fate Extra. It's a much crazier
That's a video
spin-off in
game,
which
though.
The Holy Grail War takes place
Just like
inside
Red
a
Order.
computer on the moon. Originally, it was a game on the PlayStation Portable that's never been ported, but it's now being remade for modern platforms. It had a sequel on the
Okay.
PSP called Fate Extra CCC.
I don't know
which
about all these
essentially added new
games.
plot
I'm
routes to
gonna leave the
original
games to the
Extra
side for
game.
now.
The series continued in the form of a
Let's
Muso
do
game,
the anime
Fate
first.
Stella,
No,
and its
let's
sequel,
watch
Fate
first.
Stella Link. While you can play the
Fate
original
Stella
Extra and the
Link.
two Muso games in English, CCC never got translated.
Hmm.
The only solution English speakers have to experience it is to watch a translation of it on YouTube. But even then, it
I
only
guess
covers
that's-
one of the game's various routes.
That's cool, I
As if
guess.
to make
I don't
things
know
even more
about.
complicated,
I don't know
CCC has
if
a
it's
spin-off
not.
manga called Foxtail that is still being
If
published.
it's not in English, then
As
I
a
don't know.
devilish cherry on top, Nasu, the series creator, put out an anime called Fate Extra Last Encore, which isn't a straight-up adaptation of the original Extra, but rather a complicated reboot of sorts that only makes sense if you've already played the first game.
Of
I'd
course,
like to say
bro.
that Extra is by far
Jesus.
the most intimidating of all the Fate works, because it all hinges upon
Intimidating.
you playing a game that had a limited release on a now defunct console.
Okay, like that.
Said,
Okay,
there's
that makes
lots
sense.
to love about it.
I mean, I
Hands
guess you could
down,
just
you'll
watch
regret the
people play. You can just watch the
experience.
playthrough
Just
if you can't play it
do not
yourself.
Start with Last Encore.
No,
The
okay,
further we
got
go,
you.
the more obscure things get. 3 of the harder to access works in the franchise are Fate Prototype, Fate Strange Fake, and Fate Requiem. Strange Fake and Requiem are both ongoing light novels in Japan, with limited.
Alright, let's run it back 5 seconds. I got
Strange Fake
interrupted
and
real quick.
Requiem are both ongoing light novels in Japan, with limited English fan translations.
Okay,
Like Apocrypha, they tell the story of Grail Wars that have vastly different rules and separate realities.
different rules, separate
I personally
realities.
feel like trying to
Gotcha.
read these should be a last resort, unless you can actually read Japanese. In which
No,
case,
sir.
I hear they're very
No,
good.
sir, I cannot.
Prototype is quite bizarre. Basically, Type Moon had a very different version of what Fate Stay Night would look like during development. A lot of the characters had different designs, and it took place in a different location. Because of
Okay.
this, Type Moon, the company making all these works, decided to release their vision for Prototype in the form of a big trailer, showing us what could have been. A lot of fans liked it, and from that curiosity came Fate Prototype Fragments of Sky Silver, a light novel that serves as the prequel to a story that technically has never been fully told. Again,
Okay.
to experience this,
So is that
only
ever gonna
scour the
happen?
internet for fan translations. It's worth noting that most of these works have manga adaptations as well. They're fantastic,
Right.
sometimes
I don't
adding in
really- I don't
details
know.
that were too spicy to be animated.
Reading manga is cool because like I'm also like reading some manga, not a lot. Like I've read one that's ended and 2 that are ongoing. Well, one that's on hiatus. Okay, whatever. But I don't know. I'm not really a reader, to be honest. Like I don't mind reading, but I'd rather not. You feel me? I don't know how to explain it. That's just how it is. I don't know.
All of these different works more or less exist according to separate universes, yet one work pays homage to all of them. Fate Grand Order, by far
Fate
the most
Grand
prolific
Order.
and profitable
Okay.
piece of the franchise, tells a story about mages going to alternate times and timelines, meeting an enormous ensemble of servants in an effort to save all of humanity. It has its own story, which is
Damn.
itself a branch off of the main Stay Night time.
The English version is 2 years behind? Like, I have the English version. I didn't know it was 2 years behind, though. God damn. Oh, that's
Line,
crazy.
but it also incorporates collaboration events from other works, uniting them into a single story.
That's
While
pretty
the
cool.
mobile game has been released in English and is still coming out to this day, it can't be played outside of Japan, North America, or other select countries. That said, if you want to experience the story, I've also been live streaming every major story event
Wait,
in
he
the
said
game,
it
so if
can't
you
be
can't play it,
played?
you can at least watch it.
Bro, you can just
FGO,
download
being
an
free to
APK,
play
bro.
with
It's not that
gacha
hard.
elements, has become extremely popular, such that select parts of the story have been adapted into anime and manga. The beginning section of the story was animated into Fate Grand Order, First Order. One of the more popular segments, Camelot, is being turned into a set of
You have
animated
2
movies,
movies.
while the Babylonia arc has an
And
entire
you have
series to itself.
Babylonia series.
In addition to some OVAs, there's also an adaptation of the Solomon
Okay.
finale in the works. Most of these you
I
really
ain't
shouldn't
even-
watch unless you're
I don't even
familiar with the
remember
game
there
already,
being like
because
an
they take place rather deep
anime
into the narrative.
adaptation.
That said, FGO is the main attraction for the franchise now,
Mhm.
and odds are you'll be experiencing it in some form sooner or later.
Probably.
With all of that broken down, I'm going to give my personal recommendation for how to experience the Fate series.
Okay,
It's by no
talk to
means
me.
definitive, and I'm sure some people will disagree with me, but this method
Probably.
is meant to be the easiest and most accessible. To start off, watch either Fate Zero or the Unlimited Blade Works anime, not
Okay.
the movie. These two
Okay,
anime are so
makes
well
sense.
made that they're guaranteed to excite you. If you don't enjoy these,
talk to
you're
me.
not likely going to enjoy the rest of the franchise. Whichever one you start with, go ahead
There's no
and
way I'm
follow
not
up
going
with
to
the
enjoy
other.
these.
If you're still interested in knowing what happens in Saber or Sakura's routes, you can then watch the 2006 anime and the Heaven's Feel movies, or dive full on into the visual novel.
Probably
If by
not.
now you've fallen in love with the characters and want to see more, definitely check out Hollow Ataraxia,
Okay.
Carnival Phantasm,
Okay,
and today's
I'm gonna
menu
let
for
him
the
talk.
Amiya family. If you really enjoy Fate's portrayal of Magecraft, as well as Waver, proceed to watch El Malloy Case Files or read its light novels. If you want to see Elia in a more optimistic light, or if you have a strong attachment
I
to
wanna
Shiro,
watch all of this,
go ahead
all
and
of
watch
it.
Glide Liner Prisma
It's gonna take some
Ilia,
time,
and of course,
but I
Love
do.
Thunder Snow. A lot of those are optional. If you've at least seen Zero and Unlimited Blade Works, you're free to branch into whatever you wish.
Okay. Before he starts talking more, 1 second. So we have Fate Zero, Fate Stay Night, right? Those are his recommendations, right? That's like the first watches.
In Saber or Sakura's routes, you can then watch the 2000.
And then after that, you have the 2006 Stay Night. And then after that, the movies. Interesting. I mean, it sounds like a good order. Like, I mean, I wouldn't know, right? I wouldn't know. Like, I haven't watched this shit, but it sounds like a good order. And then after that, I can just get into whatever I want to, right? That makes sense. Okay.
2006 anime and the Heaven's Feel movies, or if you want to see Elia in a more optimistic light, or if you have a strong attachment to Shiro, go ahead and watch Glide Liner Prisma Elia, and of course,
And like I said, I want to watch all of this.
a
So
lot of
in
those
the
are
end,
optional. If you've at least seen Zero and
It's all
Unlimited
gonna be
Blade
the
Works, you're free to branch into whatever you wish, including
FGO
Grand
for
Order.
sure as well.
If you get far enough into the game, go ahead and watch First Order in Babylonia.
Yeah, I have to get far
Awesome.
into the game first.
You'll likely run into references of the other Fate franchises, so if you want a better understanding, go ahead and watch Apocrypha. And if you can get your hands
Okay.
on them, play Fate Extra, Extella, and Extella Link.
Mm.
Now, if you've gotten this far, chances are you're no longer in need of a video like this.
Probably not.
Invested enough in the franchise that you'll seek out those more obscure works like Fate Extra.
Oh, I will.
CCC,
Trust me.
Foxtail, Prototype,
Trust me.
Requiem, and
Once
Strike
I get
Fate
there, I
all on
will.
their own. If you're really invested, you'll be impatient waiting for FGO to release its content in English. You'll be on the front lines experiencing the Japanese release as it comes out.
Yes, sir.
And that's my guide to the various Fate works themselves.
Okay.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you for giving us that information, my nigga. Nah, but seriously though, it was a very well explanation. Like, I wasn't talking much because I was really just listening. But from what I seen, like, of course, like, y'all been explaining me how this anime is and all like the shit like that in the comments since I put out my first Fate video. Goddamn, I can't talk. Y'all been telling me all about it and like how good it is and what it's all about and stuff like that and the characters and shit. So a lot of stuff he said, I was like, okay, that makes sense. Some people mentioned that in the comments, but the order is definitely seems straight. Zero and Unlimited Blade Works, I'm cool with that. And I mean, I guess I'll start with that. I'll start with Zero, do Unlimited Blade Works, and then after that I'll go watch the Stay Night 2006 version. That's not necessary though, right? That's only if you really want to, but I think I will. And then after that I'll do the movies. I think. Yeah. But there's also a part 2 of this video. I don't know what that is. I think he said about the lore. I guess I'll watch that as well. That's gonna be in the next video though. If y'all would like to see me react to that on the channel, make sure to subscribe, because I'm gonna be reacting to Fate on the channel. Probably within now and next week. Probably, yeah. That's probably gonna be it. I'm finally gonna be there. So if you want to watch with me, make sure to subscribe. If y'all like the video, like it up, and I'm out of here. Peace out.